All right, you have now walked through step by step, top to bottom, ladder for ladder, rung for rung, branch for branch, instruction for instruction, an entire PLC program. And at this point, you should really have a pretty clear understanding of how a PLC program works, how logic works, how those instructions work together to make things happen. You should be fresh on how we program alarms, how we control those alarms and those notifications, how we bring digital inputs and outputs and analog inputs and outputs in and out of our system. Scaling should be something that you're pretty comfortable with. You should understand the idea of scaling a value from one range to another one. Using floats and integers should be becoming a little clearer now as far as when do we want to see a decimal, when do we want to see a whole number, why does it matter, how does it impact resolution, and if somebody asks you to lay down some control logic for something, you might have to struggle through it a little bit, and there would certainly be some trial and error on an emulator or even a PLC, but you know enough now that you can probably hack your way through laying down some logic, and after a couple of tests and a little debugging, you should probably be able to make it do what you want it to do. And with a little experience, you'll get used to laying these logical operations down, and it'll be second nature. It'll be like speaking your native tongue. But again, we can walk through this 3 more times. You can read over sample programs and go back through the programming fundamentals section. But in the end, you will not be a PLC programmer. This stuff will not come naturally to you until you practice. So download the free programming environments, download the emulator, run these things, test these things, write logic to control different types of devices like motors and actuators and valves and blowers, and get used to creating this logic, watching this logic work, modifying this logic, and it's going to come naturally. But at this point, the only thing we want is for you to have a good understanding of all of these concepts, and you should be able to jump back into that program on any rung of any ladder, and you should be able to look and identify exactly what's happening and without reading the comments. So as long as you're that far, stick around, let's keep going, and we're about to get into the fun stuff. And when I say fun, I mean not much fun. That is shaking down your program and debugging your program. That is getting all the wrinkles out before anybody else looks at it or gets killed by it. So stick around.